Welcome back to the series on the 2025 ICF Code of Ethics updates. And I'm really excited to have Chia-Lin Ho with me. She's a PCC and she's going to be talking all about Section 3. So maybe we can start off with a broad overview of Section 3. Chia-Lin, thank you so much for being here in this video. And also thank you for your service to the ICF.
Thank you, Brighton. I'm very excited to introduce Section 3 of the new code. So Section 3 is about professional conduct and conflicts of interest. It consists of 8 standards in total, including 1 brand new standard and 7 standards from the prior version of the code with revisions and amendments.
Well, thank you for that overview. Now let's dig in, and we're going to actually take the first 3 standards together because they are about recognizing, managing, and resolving conflicts. So go ahead and tell us about those first 3 standards.
All right, Standard 3.1 has to do with proactively recognizing conflicts of interest. So it used to be Standard 10 in the prior version, and the new standard places more focus on concrete behaviors, so coaches know how to behave, and ICF can mandate and adjudicate. Now coaches not only need to be aware of the implications of having multiple agreements in relationships and potential for conflicts of interest, but also need to talk with all involved parties. And this standard makes the discussion group more inclusive and is tailored for different types of coaching relationship. It could be just the relationship with individual client, or it will be the trial relationship with client, sponsor, and also the coach. And after recognizing potential conflict of interest, how do coaches manage them? And that's the Standard 3.2. So this standard is about how to manage conflict of interest. It's an amendment of Standard 6 in the prior version, and the new standard focuses on being active by including both actual and potential conflicts of interest. Now the new standard applies to both internal and external coaches. And coaches manage conflict of interest and potential conflict of interest with coaching clients and sponsors through self-reflection, coaching agreement, and ongoing dialogue. So this places a focus on the importance of coaches' self-reflection in managing conflict of interest, besides having coaching agreements and ongoing dialogue. And when there's a need to resolve any conflict of interest, what should we do as a coach? That's what Standard 3.3 is about. So this standard is Standard 18 in the prior version with minor amendment and more concise language. So it makes the coach responsible to resolve any conflict of interest that may impair or limit their ethical responsibilities to clients, sponsors, and other involved parties.
Great. Thank you for taking on those first 3. And now we're going to go individually from this point out. So 3.4 is kind of about culturally sensitive boundaries.
That is right. Standard 3.4 is about setting boundaries in professional interactions. So this is actually an amendment of Standard 23 in the prior version with a focus on professional interactions. So a coach needs to be aware and set clear and culturally sensitive boundaries that govern professional interactions.
Great. Now, 3.5 is about maintaining fairness by being aware of your own biases. So tell us what coaches need to be aware of with this one.
Yes, Standard 3.5 has to do with maintaining fairness in all activities and operations as a coach. This standard is an edited version of Standard 25 in the prior version to emphasize the interpersonal and individual level of system behavior involved with discrimination. And it highlights proactive concrete behaviors by being aware of our own biases and more importantly, working to address them. And it also provides a revised list of social identity group areas on which discrimination is based. So it broadens the characteristics of human differences beyond the groups who are legally protected from discrimination by laws. Now gender identity, socioeconomic status, spiritual practice, and ability are included in this standard.
Okay, so now let's switch over maybe to the flip side of that one, which is going from being biased to being maybe overly attracted to a client potentially. So let's hear about this next standard.
All right, definitely. Standard 3.6 is about preventing a shift in the coaching relationship and also specifying actions to take if a shift occurs. So it's a revision of Standard 24 in the prior version. And as a coach, we are mindful of the level of intimacy in coaching relationship. So we don't participate in any sexual or romantic relationship with clients or sponsors. And this standard highlights the context of the standard is in a coaching relationship. As a coach may also have other non-coaching relationship and engagements with clients and sponsors. So the new version of this code also specifies the situation where action is required. If we as a coach detect a shift in the relationship, we take appropriate action to address the issue or cancel the coaching engagement.
Okay, thank you for that one. 3.7 is about multiple roles that ICF coaches often fill. So what do coaches need to know about this one?
All right, Standard 3.7 has to do with setting boundaries for coaching and other professional disciplines. It's a brand new standard in this version of the code. This standard recognizes multiple professional roles a coach may play and also the dynamic workplace a coach may serve in. And it provides flexibilities for coaches to apply practices from other disciplines besides coaching to support the client. And at the same time, it gives clarity to the client on what role a coach plays in a given time. So this is very important to recognize the boundaries for using multiple disciplines.
Well, the last one in this section is 3.8, and this is really about compensation and benefits for referrals. So what are coaches needing to watch for here?
So Standard 3.8 has to do with sharing information about compensation and benefits for referrals. This is a revision of Standard 12 in the prior version. And this new standard considers a situation where compensation may have already been received and it may not be received by the individual coach. So it recognizes that compensation and benefits for referrals may not be received directly by individual coach. So sometimes that the legal identity the coach worked for or the benefits and compensation actually goes to a different person or coaching firm or platforms related to the coach. But this code states that no matter who receives referral benefits and compensation, the coach needs to be transparent about this and disclose the information to the client.
Okay, great. So essentially, even if the coach isn't receiving the benefit directly, if someone's receiving the benefit that's related to the coach, they need to disclose that. So thank you so much for going through this. Do you have kind of a quick wrap up to this section? This is one of the longest sections, so give us a little bit of a wrap up.
Sure, yeah. So there are actually 8 standards in this session. Section 3, professional conduct of conflicts of interest. And so as Brighton mentioned, this is kind of one of the longest session in the new code. So please refer to the code and the insights and considerations for ethics, which is the ICE, and other resources on the ICF website for more details.
Well, thank you so much for your time here, and thank you so much for your time serving on the committee. And I want to invite everyone who's watching to go on to the next section, which is section 4. That'll be up here. Or if you want to go back, section 2 is down here if you haven't seen that video yet. Thank you so much for watching.